same thing. It's a big, big map. Select drops are going to be pretty cool here.
Yes, select drops indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the Tal'Darim Altar, and I bring you the one and only MorroW from Team Mousesports. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Zerg versus his opponent all the way across the other side of the map. That is quite the jog from one side to the other. We have got the one and only Select from Team Dignitas. Thank you for Queth for reminding me for that. We change server all the time, so we have to set busy every time. It's such a pain in the ass, but there you go. It would be nice to have a default busy if we want to be really, really antisocial. Something with Select in the menu.
Yeah, the distance between Select and MorroW now is probably the same distance I had to travel today to get to your house. It's so far.
Yeah, it was quite though. You know, he got in his Hellion and it took him about 4 hours to get here.
I know. I upgraded Blue Flame though in case there was any traffic, so it was fine.
Well, that would explain the horrendous accidents that were going on the way.
I know.
Well, there you go. Select in a good position going forward in this series. He is currently 1 game up, and it is, of course, best of 5. So still everything to play for, and MorroW looking to play a long macro game, I can only imagine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll open up hatch first here. Because it's such a large map, is that any 2-Rex play is so, it takes so long to get there.
Yep.
And so he can get up nice and stealthy. He can keep an overload there if it does happen. He can pull accordingly. So we'll have to see how that does go down. But we'll have to see, does Select even want to do that? He might do some 1-Rex Expo, or he might stay with the traditional refineries we're seeing now, actually. And even though you know that MorroW could very well play a macro-orientated game, you can still punish that very well with fast drops, with fast Hellions and so on, to punish that drone count.
Yep, it is a possibility. There's all sorts of ideas, really. I mean, this is the kind of map where, say, a bit of Banshee play might not go amiss. And, of course, his drops were so fast that I had real difficulty keeping track of them. Thankfully, this is might have a few less, but we never know. It's quite the strain on the observer. God damn. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It was all over the place. It was really hard to catch the drops, but we'll see.
MorroW's going for a 17 spawning pool. Usually,
wow,
when I go hatch first here, because I'm a horrible player, I'm like, all right, you know, I'm actually going to go 14 spawning pool after that 15 hatch, because I'm scared I've gone hatch first. But no, MorroW knows it. He's playing to the map, and he's going to get that 17 spawner pool nice and late. The thing is, does he scout? Did he scout anything? He scouted, yeah, okay. He scouted there was no 2-Racks. He probably knows this is now either going to be some refinery standard play, or it could be a fast command center inside his base. The problem, though, is because they're cross position, it's actually really difficult to get an overload in there to scout.
Yes, it is extremely tricky. It takes about 3 years, actually. In-game years, by the way. That is Starcraft years, and as you can see by the timer in the corner, that's something in the region of about 15 minutes.
Indeed. And this, now the Marine, oh, don't lift up the barracks, no! The drone goes in,
oh, sneaky individual, yes. And there's a reactor going down right here, which of course will be scouted by MorroW. He sees the add-on. He sees pretty much everything he wants to be. He's not getting out of there alive, but hey, he spots it.
Yeah, I mean, he can do anything now. He's seen what it is. It's going to be, once again, a reactor opening with the Hellions and into an expansion from here. And meanwhile, there are 2 Marines and an SCV outside the natural of MorroW. He could poke in here. There are only 2 Lings, actually 4 in total now, actually. With good micro, he could do quite well here.
He puts down a command center. I have to wonder if that was a little bit... It might have been... No, he didn't. It was perfectly timed. Select is able to put down the command center slightly after that. And these Marines will just keep poking, get a little bit aggressive, forcing a spine crawler here by MorroW.
And he is going to back out now with these 2 Marines and SCV. Even though as brave as they are Select Marine and SCV, they are not able to stay there for much longer.
Not exactly.
They will be able to go down.
They might die.
And Hellions are in production now. We have 2 in production. We'll have to see how much he follows them up by. When does he start that store put? Will it be nice and early? And I love this build by Select. Following up with a very fast reactor onto that barracks, sorry, and getting stim so fast. And combine that with drops, you know, devastating. The question is, why MorroW's actually adding a second spike roller here, which is interesting. He might be skipping Lings that he can go into a layer ASAP, or maybe he's just feeling a bit threatened from Hellions.
Oh, I can hardly blame him. There are Hellions on the way, and this is good positioning. I mean, there's a possibility that MorroW will try and spread creep across there in order to take that third, and he'll have plenty of spine crawlers to set up a good defensive position and try and stay ahead of his opponent. I mean, he's been ahead of him for a while in terms of the number of bases he's got. Admittedly, with the Mule in play, the economy's been fairly equal up until this point. So we'll see as to whether or not MorroW can really start to ramp things up. That's 8 drones. That's what I would class as ramping up.
Yeah, indeed. And he doesn't really want to build any Zerglings. And usually against Reactor Hellion, you need to build a lot, but no, 2 Spine Claws, 2 Queens, and these backup Zerglings. And even though they don't have the speed upgrade, they're still pretty good on creep. So he's going to be able to defend, mass up a bunch of drones, and I like that he's going layer fast now rather than a fast third. He needs to stop mining gas, though, from all these Vespian geysers to get that Spire up ASAP to counteract the way that SeleCT likes to play.
Yeah, SeleCT managed to pull that Hellion off the battle line and is getting it fixed up with the SCV. Now looking to try and flank his opponent. The thing is, with that creep spread, he's going to get plenty of vision, and I really don't think these Hellions are going to make too much of a difference. That said, we thought that last game, and hey, that's what ended up happening. It was fairly ridiculous, so we'll see how it ends up going for him. In the meantime, SeleCT now working on a starport, and he's got the reactor coming up as well, so we can expect perhaps to see a swap around considering the timing, and maybe some drop play.
Indeed, and oh, he's going to get surrounded.
Oh, very, very, very close indeed. Is he really going to go for this? I think he is. He's going to lose a lot of Zerglings in the process if he's not careful. He's splitting them up quite nicely. He wants them dead. He only loses a couple, so this might be quite nice for him, at least denying those Hellions for the time being. And no intrusion in MorroW's base will be permitted.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad. He didn't lose too many lings, and even though they're softened up right now, there's no potential drops coming right now. And as you can see, MorroW is adapting his style. Like we saw the weakness in that previous game, he's changing it up. This is what I wanted to see in that first game, especially playing against SeleCT, who is so good at medivac drops. You need to get a Spire up ASAP. Now we can go ahead and take a third. So that's why we see him killing these lings now. Let's go take a third. Let's ramp up that gas volume so we can build a lot of Mules, upgrade them well, add on that infestation pit and the upgrades.
SeleCT right now is looking fairly strong in terms of his economy, but he is starting to lag behind MorroW, which is to be expected at this stage. Just have a couple of mules out, so he's not that far behind. Working on the upgrades, Marine Shield on the way. He's already got Stim, which is fantastic. He is lacking upgrades, but he's just started this +1 infantry weapon, so that'll prove to be very useful indeed. Drops are the order of the day once again, and SeleCT looking for air superiority and the possibility of poking in and doing some damage. MorroW's Overlord placement is not exactly what I call particularly spread out. It's in a defensive posture. He doesn't want to get Overlords picked off by those Vikings again, and who can really blame him, honestly? Another Viking going to the other side. Oh, it might even scout that right there, because that's an interesting place to put it. And we'll have a look at the patrol path. Yes, it goes right over that.
And he will scout that base. He'll also scout the back 4th base as well. Meanwhile, this drop is incoming, and depending on which way the Mutualists do go to harass, will depend on if this drop is going to be successful or not, because Stim is done, Combat Shields is done, +1 attack will finish just about the time they do drop. Vikings do scout out a pathway for them to follow. Look how SeleCT is using the Viking to open up a clear pathway. No Overlords are there. There is nothing to scout this. And this could be crucial, because if MorroW goes harass now, this map is so big that it's going to take way too much time to come back.
Yes, yes, it will. This is going to end up being messy, and right now, MorroW is moving Zerglings into the wrong... or is he actually? No, he is moving to the right position, and that could prove to be problematic. A couple of Mutas coming in right there, and SeleCT deliberately dropping most of his forces behind the cliff, so those Zerglings can't touch it. There's a couple of free Overlords right there for SeleCT. Really smart and very quick decision-making there.
Yeah, and he's going to pull back. He realizes there's no way he can really drop here. Mutalists and Lings are in pursuit. He's going to probably just take the Zalmawi Tower coverage away from MorroW and then pull back. Meanwhile, a 3rd base is in production. +1 attack, almost finished too, but another drop. Look at this down now, the natural. What he's going to do is trying to push MorroW's multitask defense. The drop is just south now, going across to that bottom 3rd base, while distracting at the north with this double medivac.
Yes, indeed. There it is. Sneaky, sneaky SeleCT. Individual dropship going in right now. And, of course, that's most of the forces moving away. Looks like he might be able to take at least one. And, yeah, he'll take the second, or will he? There it goes. But in the meantime, was that sacrifice really worthwhile? I suppose he really didn't have too many choices there. This drop is coming in. There is a spine crawler coming in right there. And SeleCT now starting to do some damage. I don't know how much damage he's really going to be able to do here, honestly. MorroW can pull off the line. He can't kill that hatchery in time. The Zerglings are already on their way.
Yeah, I mean, he can go to the higher ground to prevent the Zerglings killing them and then just, you know, do maximum damage with them. But the thing is, Mulists are in pursuit now. There's only 4 though. He has to be careful. Lings are there to help, but MorroW's doing a much better job denying this now. Meanwhile, SeleCT is getting that 3rd base up and running.
Yep, it's looking very, very nice indeed for him. And those Marines might die. Yes, I think that's very likely at this point. That was a little bit aggressive there from MorroW, and what a mess he made. In the meantime, that base has been taken out by SeleCT, who is looking to solidify his defensive position. A couple of missile turrets up and the siege tanks as well. MorroW is looking way, way stronger this game than he was last time.
He needs to take gas, though, because he's defending all the time. Look at his minerals and gas. Like, he needs more gas. He's got a lot of income now from minerals, but you can see soon that it's just going to go out of balance. Okay, he's adding on the extractors now, and he needs to expand for extractors. And SeleCT is pushing the limits now. You know, he's going for drops again. He's another one at the north now. And there is no one. There's no double drop. It's just one. And he's going to expect MorroW. MorroW should be looking to harass soon, because he's stopped the medevac drops. So this is kind of a drop to... It's playing mind games with each other basically. And it's going to be scouted, though. I think this drone might see it.
Oh, it might. Admittedly, that could also force a cancel right there. Yeah. He pulls back, and there's the drop. And I would imagine that MorroW is going to have to stop that at this point. I don't know if he sees it. Apparently he does not, because here he goes. Forcing that is... Yes, he gets the cancel there. And he loses a little bit, not too much. But right now, MorroW is still in a really great economic position, so I can't imagine he's too worried by that.
And this is the new style of Zerg we're seeing a lot recently. It's just very Mutalisk heavy. All your upgrades go into Mutalisk upgrades, and just more upgrades for the Lings as well, not just the Mutalisk. We kind of forget about Banelings, and with well-upgraded Zerglings, once you get up to 2-0, the +2 melee attack is a great upgrade. Actually, look at that drop being denied again.
Oh, smashed into pieces. What can I say? What I'd also like to point out is that it's a really, really fantastic setup for later game Broodlords, because Broodlords have this component attack. When they fire the Broodling, it does an initial bit of damage, which is affected by flyer attacks. Then the Broodlings are affected by melee attacks, which is why it's absolutely perfect setup for that. And we saw Nurchio do an awful lot of that in the previous tournament. Unfortunately, knocked out of this one. Nurch immediately. Soke playing so well, I have to say. I was so surprised by that.
Indeed. And now SeleCT is pushing through, killing a lot of creatures here. That is a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But he's got to be careful. He's got to stim
run.
Oh,
no! Yeah, MorroW decides no. He's just not interested in that at the moment. The army supply count is looking quite nice for both players, honestly. We could see a fairly epic clash in the middle right here. A well set up position right here by SeleCT, but Tal'Daren's a very wide open map. There's all sorts of possibilities. He just charged right into the siege tank. He must be very confident about his ability to smash through, and I can hardly blame him. The Banelings go off, and now he can clean up the siege tanks very easily. A very nice play there by MorroW, who is now devastating SeleCT's armed forces.
Oops, and there was the majority of SeleCT's army was actually on the natural. The supply depots were up, so they were running around in dancing. That's not pretty good. That's not good at all.
No, no, it isn't. No.
And that was hurtful. Also, he forgot to target fire the Banelings as well, so he was attacking Lings instead of Banelings. Few mistakes here by SeleCT, but he's keeping up with the production.
Drop down here by SeleCT, but it is a very small drop. It's not all that effective. He might be able to take the extractor out, but I'm thinking not, because, hey, we brought Mutalisk to the party. Isn't that delicious? And in the meantime, SeleCT is not looking to be all that strong this game. His aggressive play has been denied. The mineral count is very heavily in favor of MorroW. The army count after that engagement is absolutely enormous for him, and SeleCT is reinforced primarily with Marines. He's looking for double upgrades right here, building 11 at a time, but there's 25 Banelings coming in.
Yeah, and I mean, he's dropped again at the north looking for another base, won't find it, and it will get shot down again. At the same time, moving on the left-hand side now, and is going to try to jump into a great position. That will he be able to do? He's got to get rid of a lot of creep tumors first. Parathing lands now has finished for the infestors. We'll see some infestors soon, and the hive is about to finish as well.
This is where things start to get really, really messy for any Terran player, honestly. The creep spread for MorroW has been absolutely astonishing. We saw 10 creep tumors going down at once at one point. He's sitting on 5 queens to make that happen. It's very, very good indeed. SeleCT is being forced to waste a lot of energy on scans to try and clean that up. And bear in mind that even when you clean the creep tumors up, it takes a while for the creep to recede. So there's all sorts of possibilities. It looks like the creep's going to get him all the way there, and SeleCT is now getting annihilated. That just wasn't even close.
Wow, MorroW completely demolishing this army, and even the reinforcements are going to get taken down. And
how good is the micro? How good is the micro? That's what it comes down to. And SeleCT actually manages to get away with a few Marines that will be immediately destroyed unless he brings in reinforcements. And there he goes. He has that +2 weapon upgrade, but the Mutalisks are still tearing through it. He's got the critical mass that he needs to make a fight of this one, and he cleans up in the middle once again and reclaims his map dominance.
Wow, MorroW playing so strong. There is a drop on the left-hand side of the base, though, doing a bit bit of damage, but being neglected quite easily by spine crawlers. Did take out a few drones here and there, though. Meanwhile, they're pushing forward again to that back base, but will get denied very, very shortly here.
Yes, there's no real way that that's going to do any big damage. I can only imagine we've got a drop over the side right there to kill an Overlord, because, hey, why not? Might as well take it for free. Down goes the medevac. MorroW cleans that up quite nicely. Admittedly, MorroW has been prevented from using these Mutalisks as a harassment force on SeleCT because of all of these aggressive drops, so it does work out, and there are now Thors coming on the field for him as well.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with SeleCT, though, right now is that his economy is in shambles. It's on basically 2 base, and that first initial base is almost mined out. The main base is mined out, the natural
Hold
almost,
that
and third
thought.
base.
There are 2 Nidus worms on the way right here for MorroW, and I assume he is building them. It's going to be really hard to find these sodding things, considering the size of MorroW's base right now. And as far as I'm aware, he is building simply 2 Nidus worms, one after the other, in order to reposition his forces. There they are, 1 Nidus network, and the 2nd Nidus network, now that we finally found the bloody things. I have to wonder what he's going to be doing with this.
I mean, he can harass in a lot of different locations, zip lings all over the place, and deny a lot of bases here.
1 Nidus worm is going up, but we don't know where it is. Find the Nidus worm, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a new game. It's like whack-a-mole. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it's down in the bottom left now, and he's using it to transfer drones.
Smart.
In this
very, very
case.
smart indeed. He's using it as a transport network, which we don't see a huge amount of, and really it's a very handy thing to do on a map like Tal'Darim.
Yeah, I remember, if I remember correctly, back in the beta days, we talked about Desert Oasis. It used to be used a lot there to take the expansions in the corners, but we don't really see it in open play very much, so he does have a Nidus worm there, and that probably freaks SeleCT out too, hearing the sound
Oh god,
of the
there's a Nidus worm! There's a Nidus worm! Where is it? Oh, it's just in his base. He's using it as some kind of subway system, but hey, why the hell not? SeleCT looking to take a strong position in the middle, but my concern is that there will be Brood Lords, and as a direct result, there will be a follow-up of blood. Lots and lots of Terran blood, and he is lacking Vikings.
He's lacking Vikings, he's lacking Ghosts. He does have a Thor, though, which help out a lot against him, but the thing is, he just doesn't have what it takes to beat a late-game Zerg player. And in moving the Broodlords now slowly across the map. Mueller's doing a little bit of harassment, and also borrowed Zerglings as well.
Double Nidus! Right. I have to wonder if he's actually going to do anything with this, or if this is deliberately to force SeleCT to pull back. And our feeling is, look at that, all the Marines are leaving, and that Nidus doesn't really do anything. It's a shame that MorroW didn't take advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, he could have jumped in right on all these siege tanks, but unfortunately not. SeleCT, though, is finally trying to get up that 4th base. He needs to get that up now, and this economy is trying to keep up with MorroW's economy, which is pretty amazing right now, if I say so myself. A bunch of spine crawlers being added onto each base. We have 6 at the north base. We have another 6 down here. Anti-SeleCT, anybody? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, he can afford it, can't he? I mean, MorroW's pretty much maxed out. SeleCT is maxed out as well. Upgrades are plenty coming in for both. We're looking at Ground Carapace level 3 and an Ultralisk Cavern. This is getting real, folks.
This is getting pretty difficult, but the thing is, he still doesn't have enough to combat these Broodlords, Corruptors, and Mulists. He just doesn't have enough. All he has is Marines. There are no Vikings in production whatsoever, and with Marines alone, because there's now Infestors in the mix, that he can just trap them down so easily.
Well, it's Infestors, Ultralisks, and Broodlords, and Banelings as well. So really, he's got every possible counter he could in this particular regard. So it is concerning, I have to say. SeleCT now rolling out. He will be able to deny this. I don't even know what number this expansion is for MorroW right now. Is anyone really surprised that MorroW is playing like this on Tal'Darim? Seriously.
I mean, now we do have, I mean, looking at the upgrades, 3-2 for the Zerglings now, that shoots the 3-2 for the Broodlings too. And look at this, a trading move now. He's going to take out the Planetary Fortress on the right-hand side, but could potentially lose a devastating position. And when Terran gets in position like this, oh, it's so hard to engage.
This is going to be difficult, really it is. I mean, look at that spread. That's a great siege tank placement. That base will go down. There's a lot of spine crawlers defending it, so he'll take some losses in the process. In the meantime, there we go. He has devastated that base over to the side. The thing is, I think that MorroW can afford this, whereas SeleCT really can't. The concern is the fact that SeleCT is now entrenched in the middle of this creep. There are 10 Infestors on the way to try and make that a different situation, however. And MorroW also slowly pushing forward with a force of Broodlords coming in from the side. This is pretty absurd.
And SeleCT is cutting his forces up. He is dropping in the bottom left to deny the bottom left base now too. But I don't even think he has what it takes to combat these Broodlords. There are just too many.
Well, a lot of Marines have already killed in that assault. They're pushing forward, and they see the Nidus network right there. Zerglings moving in with +2 and +3 upgrades. Big damage coming in. In the meantime, SeleCT is forced backwards simply because of the flight of Mutalisks and Broodlords moving in. And there's a large lack of anti-air defense around there, honestly.
And I love the use of the Nidus Worm defending that bottom left base, bringing in Lings, bringing in Infestors. Rather
Smart.
than having the waypoint down into siege tanks, obviously, he just brings them up from underneath the ground and does a ton of
Can we point out
defense.
how many minerals MorroW is actually floating right now? Because that's almost 7,500, and he's building 12 spine crawlers simultaneously. Also, have you seen this? This is a new Zerg unit right here. It's the Corruptilisk.
The Corruptilisk.
Look at that. Look at that. It's a what is that? That is the silliest thing I've seen in ages.
It's like watching Free Willy is like kind of swimming with the Broodlords.
Oh god, jump Willy jump! Really, this the Viking flower was removed a long time ago, but I think that MorroW has now developed the Zerg weed. It's a little bit crazy. In the meantime, more spine crawlers coming up and actually redeploying a defensive position across the map, creeping a bunch of spine crawlers. MorroW building, well, just as many spine crawlers as he can, because what else has he got to spend his money on?
Yeah, he's just making sure each expansion is nice and safe. A drop on the top right, cleaned up very easily by Infestors.
Not even close.
And there is a drop in the bottom left as well. Multiple drops here by SeleCT. This might have more success, but guess what? Nidus Worm Infestors, pretty good defense.
Yeah, I really don't think this drop's going to do so well. He's already got Infestors there, and he still has 4 spine crawlers in position. And he doesn't even need it. There we go. There's a double fungal growth. That is DEAD.
Well, the medevac's like, nope, I will be okay. That one Marine will not die because it just
Suddenly enjoy infested Terrans. That was a mana infested Terran right there.
One Marine, it's Jim Raynor himself.
Oh my god, it's actually, yeah, this is Jim Raynor right here, and he has no range upgrade, so somehow the one Marine holds.
Wow.
It's Tarson the Marine.
Yeah, Tarson in the Marine suit there, killing off. Tarson holds. And we are moving down with a cute little force here from SeleCT. Will it be out enough to take out that Nidus network before more units come out? We'll have to see.
Well, my concern if I were SeleCT right now is that I've just moved this position completely, and as a direct result, I could start to take big damage. I mean, MorroW's floating over 9,000 minerals, and I wish I was kidding. Well, I don't wish I was kidding. It's freaking hilarious. But it's just ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it. He can clean up one of the mining bases, which is nice, but MorroW has about 5,000 more of those, so he didn't really need that anyway.
Indeed, and now we have a huge